a marvel of engineering, a gateway between two oceans, and a passage that reshaped global trade forever. The Panama Canal stands as one of the most significant human-made structures in history. But before it became the modern wonder we know today, its history was filled with ambition, hardship, and groundbreaking achievements. Here are 10 fascinating facts about the history of the Panama Canal before now. The idea dates back to the 16th century. The dream of a canal through Panama is not a modern concept. It dates back to the early 1500s when Spanish explorers recognized the strategic importance of the narrow isthmus of Panama. In 1534, King Charles V of Spain commissioned a survey to explore the possibility of a water passage that could connect the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. However, the project was quickly abandoned due to the overwhelming challenges of the time, including the region's impenetrable jungles, mountainous terrain, and rampant tropical diseases. With no advanced engineering tools or technology to support such an ambitious endeavor, the vision of a canal remained just that, a dream that would take centuries to materialize. The French attempt was a costly failure. In the late 19th century, the French took on the monumental challenge of constructing a canal through Panama, believing they could replicate the success of the Suez Canal. Led by Ferdinand de Lesseps, their efforts were plagued by miscalculations, particularly in underestimating the difficulty of cutting through the mountainous terrain and the need for a lock-based system rather than a sea-level canal. Worse still, the region's swamps and rainforests became breeding grounds for deadly diseases like malaria and yellow fever, which claimed the lives of over 20,000 workers. As costs spiraled out of control and construction ground to a halt, the French project ultimately collapsed in 1889, leaving behind a cautionary tale of ambition, failure, and human loss. The U.S. took over and revolutionized construction. Following the failure of the French, the United States took over the canal project in 1904, determined to succeed where others had failed. Engineers like John Frank Stevens and George Washington Goethals revolutionized construction by abandoning the previous sea-level design in favor of a lock-based system, which allowed ships to be lifted and lowered between ocean levels. Massive excavation efforts reshaped the landscape, and the construction of the colossal Gatun Dam created an artificial lake to aid navigation. Eradicating disease was key to success. One of the most critical challenges in building the canal was not the engineering feats, but the deadly diseases that had devastated previous efforts. Under the leadership of Dr. William Gorgas, the U.S. implemented a groundbreaking public health campaign to combat malaria and yellow fever. Swamps were drained, mosquito breeding grounds were eliminated, and fumigation efforts were launched to control the spread of disease. Improved sanitation, better housing for workers, and widespread medical treatments drastically reduced mortality rates. The lock system was a game changer. One of the most revolutionary aspects of the Panama Canal was the implementation of a lock-based system, a major departure from the failed French attempt at a sea-level canal. This innovative design allowed ships to be lifted up to 85 feet above sea level and then lowered back down as they moved through a series of massive chambers filled and emptied with water. The locks, powered by gravity and controlled with precision, made it possible to traverse the rugged Panamanian terrain without requiring an impossibly deep and wide excavation. The three main lock systems, Gatun, Pedro Miguel, and Miraflores, became engineering marvels, allowing vessels of all sizes to cross between the Atlantic and Pacific in just hours instead of weeks. This system remains the heart of the canal's operation, a true testament to human ingenuity, a new nation, and a strategic deal. Before construction began, the U.S. needed rights to build the canal. At the time, Panama was part of Colombia, but negotiations stalled over financial disputes. In 1903, with U.S. support, Panama declared independence. Soon after, the new nations signed the Habonao-Varilla Treaty, granting the U.S. control over the Canal Zone. This deal allowed the U.S. to build, operate, and defend the canal indefinitely. While it brought economic growth, it also fueled Panamanian nationalism and demands for sovereignty. The canal opened in 1914, but faced immediate challenges. After a decade of construction, the Panama Canal officially opened on August 15, 1914, with the SS Ancon making the first transit. However, the grand event was overshadowed by the outbreak of World War I just days earlier. The canal also faced operational issues, including landslides in the Guilar Cut, disrupting traffic. Despite these setbacks, it quickly became a crucial route for military and commercial ships, solidifying its global importance. It changed global trade forever. The Panama Canal revolutionized trade by dramatically cutting travel distances and costs. Before its construction, ships had to navigate the dangerous waters of Cape Horn at the southern tip of South America. The canal shortened voyages by over 8,000 nautical miles, saving weeks of travel time. This transformation boosted global commerce, enhanced economic growth, and reshaped international trade routes. Today, over 14,000 ships pass through annually, making it a key link in the global supply chain. The U.S. controlled the canal for nearly a century. Despite being on Panamanian soil, the canal remained under U.S. control for almost 100 years. The U.S. managed and defended it as part of the Panama Canal Zone, a 5-mile-wide U.S. territory on either side of the waterway. This foreign control led to growing resentment among Panamanians, sparking protests and diplomatic tensions. In 1977, the Torrijos-Carter treaties set the stage for Panama's eventual control, marking a major shift in U.S.-Panama relations. Panama gained full control in 1999. On December 31, 1999, Panama officially took full control of the canal, ending nearly a century of U.S. administration. This historic handover fulfilled Panama's long-standing demand for sovereignty. Since then, Panama has modernized and expanded the canal, completing a $5.25 billion expansion in 2016 to accommodate larger ships. Under Panamanian management, the canal thrives, generating billions in revenue and remaining essential to global trade. The Panama Canal remains a symbol of human ingenuity, perseverance, and the power of global connectivity. Its history before now is a testament to the vision, struggles, and triumphs that shaped one of the world's most strategic waterways. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the History of Before Now for more fascinating stories from the past. And let us know in the comments. What historical topic would you like us to cover next? Your suggestions help shape our future videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.